Good afternoon. Welcome in to the Baseball Insiders with the Baseball Insider at by Robert Murray. Should I say my name or just at the Carm? I'd rather go with at the Carm. Mark Carmen here with you, Bert. Good to see you, buddy.
Good
Baseball
to see.
Insiders every Tuesday and Thursday, 2 Central Time. Hit that subscribe button. Tell a friend. Bert, Brian, Seth Teal, yo, what's up? Good to see you, buddy. Bryce Harper is going to have his thumb. That sucks.
It's not great, but first of all, I also want to mention that I actually call Carm at the Carm in person and on the phone. He can confirm that one too. Remember when we met in Orlando, Carm, and I was like, "Hey, it's at the Carm." That's a legit thing.
I don't remember that because it's just so normal for me to be called that it didn't stand out. But Bert, you're always supporting. You're always there for me. We had a good talk last Friday. You, of course, are an amazing individual. That the most relatable baseball insider you could find, right there, staring at you with his cute face. I am offended though to start the show here by Seth Teal. Will you guys talk about the Cardinals? Seth, we absolutely do not rule out any team ever, Seth, even if it is the despicable Cardinals and their obnoxious fan base who think they're the best fans in baseball. We would never do that. We love talking St. Louis Cardinal and any baseball, damn it.
we talk about anybody and everybody. I won't go as strong as Carm though, but I'll give you some stuff about the Cardinals real quick though. We just want to jump right into.
Sure, we do. We're here from you. Every damn comment that's on this text on our chain, we get to. So everybody, just stay patient, and we will get to you. Seth jumped in first. What do you got on what's your latest on the Cardinals? Who, by the way, if memory serves, I believe they lost 2 or 3 to the pathetic Cubs this past weekend. But go ahead, Bert.
Boy, Karma is firing on all cylinders today, folks. But
well, I got threatened at a St. Louis Cardinals game by a fan who wanted to beat me up, and so it's now this was young me. I was slightly. I wasn't even obnoxious actually. I was just wearing a Cubs floppy hat, and we had about 13th row seats behind the Cubs on deck circle. And every time the Cubs scored, I would walk down the stairs with a little, way to go. Was Corey Patterson back in the day. We're talking like 04, something like that. And the Cardinal fans did not like that. They didn't like that at all.
I'm shocked you came out of that one alive, Carm. You're an instigator. Yeah.
Busch Stadium, that was old Busch. It was a great place. The food around St. Louis, the hill, Italian food, loved it. But I'm sorry, I'm talking too much Cardinals fans. So we got 30 minutes for the show today, by the way, team. Bert and I are going to be interviewing Fernando Tatis Jr., which will be posted on the Baseball Insiders YouTube site. So unfortunately, we can't do that live. So we got 30 minutes, so I'm going to stop talking. What about the Cardinals there? And Seth, if you have any specific question for Robert, go ahead. But what were you going to mention, Bert?
Yeah, so with the Cardinals, I would fully expect them to be prominently in the bullpen picture. I would expect them to add maybe 1 or 2 arms there. With Jack Flaherty being out for an extended period of time, I would expect them to target a rotation arm. I've seen them mention with Frankie Montas a lot, Carm, but okay. I would be pretty surprised if they went in that direction because
Steve Price,
John Mozeliak, he is usually one to hold on to his top prospects, and to get Frankie Montas, it's going to require probably one of Nolan Gorman, Matthew Liberatore, or Jordan Walker, and I don't envision them doing that. So I'd not get your hopes up on Montas, but I expect them to add another arm, maybe along the lines of like a J.A. Happ or John Lester type like they did last year, maybe a little bit better than that.
Okay, I'm sure Cardinal fans are slightly hoping that it's better than John Lester, who actually did pitch okay, at least for a brief tenure. By the way, if you're not paying attention to the standings, St. Louis is a half game back right now. The Brewers at 42-34. The Brewers 42-33. So that race is very much alive. And I look at those numbers and it's like, it ain't that hard to win the Central nowadays if you have a halfway decent team. I mean, playing 10 games over 500 baseball gets it done. All right, let's start moving through here. Let's see. Mets Rat. Shock, he only wants to talk about the Mets. Mets rat, we love you, buddy. Thank you for checking out the Baseball Insiders. Hit that subscribe button. What is Robert hearing about the Metropolitans? Who, hey, it's good to be a Met fan nowadays. 5 games up on the Braves. Whoever, that's tightened up a little bit, but hey, it's been a lot of fun at good old Citi Field this year. Which, by the way, I'll be there at the end of August. Go ahead.
There you go. Well, with the Mets, I would think. Like, I've talked to some people in the industry who believe that they're going to end up adding a bigger bat because they only have one big bat in Pete Alonso, and getting another one to complement him would be pretty good. I know there were some people who thought JD Martinez would be a good fit, but with Boston unlikely to sell now, like that won't happen. But I would expect them to look in that direction. The rotation is surprisingly held up really well without Scherzer and DeGrom, and they've had more injuries there. So I would imagine another rotation arm is going to be a possibility. But I wouldn't expect anybody like too crazy there. I saw John Heyman connect them with Luis Castillo. Same with the Padres too, which I want to get into that one a little later on. But yeah, I would expect the Mets to be pretty active in trade talks here.
Interesting. Certainly, finances will not be an issue for the Steve Cohen battling Mets. All right. I guess we could stay in New York. My guy Darius Glover, welcome to the Baseball Insiders. Darius, what offensive bat do you think the Yankees will acquire? I saw an interesting stat, by the way. Did you see Aaron Judge calling himself the best player on the team after his walk-off against the Astros?
No, I did not see that.
He was interviewed afterwards and how do you handle this pressure? Well, when you're the best player on the team, you're expected to do that. Whoa, Aaron, you go, Aaron Judge. Okay.
Is he wrong? I don't think so, but it's surprising you'd say that, though.
I mean, but that'd be like, as the best insider on this podcast, I wouldn't mind if you said that, Bert, but you wouldn't do that. That's not the type of guy you are. I was
apparently. Hang on. So apparently, according to Yanks Go Yard in the comments section, he said best planet on the team. So that I don't know.
I do not quibble with Adam Weinrib and or Thomas Carinante. Best planet on the team. Planet on the team? Okay, I mean, I watched the video. I thought he said best player on the team, but okay, best planet on the team. I think that means the same thing.
I don't know, but Jupiter was snubbed. It's an underrated planet, in my opinion.
Jupiter is a good planet, and for the record, those who took Pluto out of being a planet, that was messed up. I am here to for all the people of Pluto. That didn't feel good. All right. He tried to say best team on the planet and stumbled on himself. Huh. All right, fair enough. Back to you and back to Darius. And what offensive bat do you think the Yankees acquire? Yanks Go Yard, feel free to weigh in on that one too.
So I don't think they're going to do it because the price is going to be pretty astronomically high. But I wonder if they're going to have interest in a guy like Brian Reynolds with the Pirates. I had somebody say, can you imagine, or I had somebody text me this morning, actually, a very smart baseball person was like, can you imagine if the Yankees acquired a guy like Brian Reynolds? And he laid out a prospect package that it would take. It had Brian Reynolds and Brian Reynolds for Anthony Volpe. Aaron Hicks was another one. There was their number 5 prospect. I can't remember what his name was, but it was I'm not saying I expect this to happen. I would call it extremely unlikely because I don't believe the Pirates are going to trade Reynolds. In fact, I've heard they're not engaging on Reynolds. They'll listen, but they're not going to actively engage there. But if there was one player that I think would be a perfect fit for the Yankees, I think it would be him.
By the way, Brian Reynolds, Nashville-based, loves a good country music, just like you, Bert.
There you go. Hey, Luke Combs dropped a new album the other day, so I mean, good stuff. My eardrums have been blessed.
You've been rocking the Luke Combs.
Always.
Great
stuff.
Is that your number one?
No, Jack Botts is number one, Carm.
Jack Botts.
Yeah, nobody knows about Jack Botts, but I'll tell you, if you listen to 18th Floor, you're going to be hooked. So just throwing that out there.
Okay, and I just want to get to know my bird on these podcasts. So there you go.
And Taylor Swift too. Good shot by Jacob there.
Yeah, I know you definitely love Taylor. Johnny's always here. Johnny, we love you, buddy, and you are very interested in Cubs trade rumors as per always. Wilson Contreras has been a little bit of a slump. Then he had some key hits against the Cardinals, so that's always number one on Cubs trade rumor minds. But Ian Happ has been getting mentioned a bunch here. Bert, I don't know what you're hearing on his name. Some people think he belongs in the All-Star game, which is fine. Somebody from the Cubs has got to go from every team. I don't look at him as an all-star, but do you expect that Happ will be a Cub and anything else you're hearing?
I think there's a real chance he is traded. I've had people speculate that the Blue Jays are a good fit for Happ. I'm not going to guarantee that he is traded. I don't think he's their most likely candidate. I think Wilson Contreras is by far and away the Cubs' most likely trade candidate there. I know there was some people who were down on, or at least publicly, I should say, on Kyle Hendricks' trade value, and then he went out and did what he does against the Cardinals and just dominated them. And actually, their manager, Ali Marmol, he joked that he can't wait for Hendricks to retire just because he owns him so much, which that was a great line. You don't usually hear managers talk like that, so I thought that was pretty funny. But like for me, those are going to be like the three most prominent ones. I think Wade Miley's going to get a mention too, but like something that I've said on previous podcasts recently is that these trade dialogues are starting to happen throughout the league, but I would not expect that Carlos Santana trade to be like the start of like a run on trades. Like that was just the exception. They're just getting a feel for what the market is right now for most of these teams.
So, I mean, we're sitting here on June the 28th. The deadline is August the 2nd. Are you saying in 2 weeks, another 2 weeks before it heats up? Or even more?
I would expect, somewhere in that 2 to 3 week window, like probably right after the All-Star game, is when we're going to see some of these talks accelerate here.
Okay, fair enough. Let's move along to, we've already covered Luis Castillo and the Mets. I guess we can go to the Giants from the Alchemic. Am I saying that right? I hope I am. What's up, my friend? Thank you for being here. Hit that subscribe button. What should the Giants do at the deadline? San Francisco hanging around a little bit, at least. They're 6 back of the Dodgers. Padres are sitting right there. Again, we're talking to Fernando Tatis Jr. today. So, he has not played all season long. We'll try to get at least a sense of when Tatis expects to be back. But the Giants are also a game back right now in the wild card chase.
Yeah, I've mentioned this a couple times with the Giants. Wilson Contreras is going to be the name to watch there, I think. It seems like everybody in baseball expects it. But that's never that doesn't mean a deal is going to happen. Let's just say that. It makes so much sense on paper. So I think he's going to be the one to watch with the Giants.
And of course, the Giants and Cubs did a deal at the deadline last year when Caleb Killian and I forget the other prospected number, their 30th prospect came over for Chris Bryan. Not that is an indication of anything, but that did happen. So, all right, a little more Cub news for you, Johnny, and kind of a funny comment there. Why does your buddy Jeff Passan take so many victims on Twitter? LOL. He does crush people. That our guy is. He's not bashful when he's got a victory on his hand.
Yeah, he does not. And there's been a couple times he has done that to me. Specifically when I tweeted that mashed potatoes are trash, which. That is true, by the way. Mashed potatoes suck. He said it was because I don't know how to make them. And all of a sudden, I kid you not, after he sends that text, after I send that tweet and he sends his tweet, he shoots me a text and gives me a mashed potato recipe. And we start talking about how he likes to cook. By the way, Passan loves to cook. That's my inside scoop on Jeff Passan. He loves to cook, and he's very good at it too. At least he claims to be.
Yeah, you don't know if he's a good cook.
He claims to be. That's why I added that disclaimer in there.
Passan just doesn't look like a good cook. Let's be honest. Do you want that guy in your kitchen? He's that's not your guy. We need a more like an earthy type of guy who gets in the kitchen and makes things happen. If Passan, which will never happen because Jeff Passan is a made man in this industry, damn it. But if he got kicked out somehow and all of a sudden he started a TikTok and it was TikTok cooking with Passan, I don't think that would succeed. And you could
I would
tell
subscribe.
Okay. All right.
Although that being said, I want to make it clear, Jeff, if you're watching this or if you see this, I am not the one slandering you. So if you come at the podcast, it's Carm knocking your cooking skills.
There's no slander. I'm just saying the dude doesn't look like he can cook. That's all I'm saying. I don't know what that means. I don't even know how I got to that point in my head. But I'm standing by it. All right.
Yeah, this one oozes pass and takes another victim here. I'm ready.
Yeah, no, that could get ugly for me. All right, Jacob, you're in. Can we talk about the report that Buster Olney put out about Freddie Freeman firing his agent? That is the top story out there in your ESPN world. That indeed Freeman fired the rest, which he should have, by the way. Why don't you give a little background on that and what you're hearing, Bert?
Yeah, so I had heard about this on Sunday, that Freeman was going to part ways with his agent, and I checked. It was a strong rumor. At the time, it was not official, but it's not surprising that it has come to this because Freeman has made it very clear to Dodgers, to Braves players, that he was very upset with the way his free agency was handled. And the industry expectation was that he would eventually move on from his agents. And according to Buster, it is official. I have not independently confirmed that. But it's a huge blow to XL because they had Trevor Story, who was a free agent last year. He ended up signing late with Boston, and then he fired them almost immediately after. So it's been a tough stretch for XL, and not a surprise by Freeman if this is indeed official.
Well, and listen, bottom line, the dude should never have left Atlanta. That's where he wanted to be. That's where he belonged. They won the damn World Series. It's ridiculous that Freddie Freeman is a Dodger right now, despite his connection to the West Coast and any other positive correlation, if you will, so that you could connect to him being a Dodger. That just sucked.
So I actually want to add a point to that, Carm.
Sure.
Is a lot of people are blaming Freddie Freeman for not being with the Braves. That, to me, knowing what I know, is not fair. I cannot. There's some details that I cannot reveal, but we do not know this entire story. And yeah,
okay,
I'll leave it at that.
I would never not trust anything that you say, Bert. That's how much I respect you. However, listen, he would have been a very wealthy man if he had taken the Braves offer. Get what you can in life, sure. I never begrudge what athletes make. They're in the most exclusive country club on the planet. So many of us play baseball or any other sport, and to make it to that level, congratulations. You obviously worked incredibly hard, along with any good fortune that came your way. You deserve it, the money on and all of it. However, sometimes the philosophy, just happiness gets lost with how many yachts you can ski behind, or really just, putting that number out there into the I'm really important world. And I don't quite get it. But all right, let's move on. Jay Greasy, what's up, my friend? Do the Pirates hold on to Reynolds, Bednar in an effort to be respectable in 2023, or do you expect one or both to go to a contender? I also saw that you could jump in on that, Bert, but I want to give a shout out to our guy, my favorite player in all of baseball, O'Neal Cruz, who hit his first homer this week. I love that guy, but go ahead.
No, yeah, and with the Pirates, sorry, I'm getting a call right now.
Major call?
Yeah.
You want to take it and go dark? Do you have to take?
Do your thing. Wow.
Robert's. This better not take long, buddy. You're in the middle of a podcast. There goes Bert. And this is so, now everybody, I know we feel a little bit empty right now without Robert. So one thing I can guarantee is that this is definitely baseball related. This is not his mother calling. This is absolutely someone in the agent land and or a player that Bert is connected to. So this is, I mean, I'm personally on the edge of my seat here. I'm willing to hear guesses in the chat too as to what exactly is happening right now. Who is Bert talking to? What news could he possibly come back and break for us on the Baseball Insiders at 2:20 Central Time on June the 28th, ahead of the deadline on August the 2nd? Let me tackle some of the stuff in the chat that I can handle without Bert. Let's see, Johnny, you're all over my Cubs. So if Wilson Contreras goes to the Giants, do you think Bart would be headed to Chicago? Or are the Giants not interested in trading him for rental? That, I think that's absolutely on the table right now, that the Cubs could end up, which they were interested in last year, but could I would they give him up? I think at this point they might, but it also, I think that level of package could be based on if there's other interest for Contreras. We'll see. Seth Teal, I am so hopeful that you are correct, that it is Rob Manfred has stepped down as commissioner. Bert, I got people guessing as to what's going on, why you stepped away. What can you tell us about your disappearance on your own show?
Yep.
Nothing. Not
I will
a word.
say there's nothing imminent, though. It was not a trade call or a free agent call. So
did you tell whoever you talked to that you left a ton of listeners in the middle of the show?
Yeah, I did say that, and he's like, "Oh boy, I'm so sorry, but I can assure you there has not been a trade." But I will say this:
yes, give us something. You can't just leave your show and give nothing.
As trade season heats up, as we get closer to the deadline, there is a very real possibility that we break news on this podcast as we're doing it live. So that's just another reason to tune in. So, but nothing is happening right now, I can assure you. At least that I'm aware of.
Can you give a position, something that would just a little taste of what was going on?
Just yeah,
pitching or hitting? Outfield, infield, veteran, rookie?
Hitting.
All right.
There we go.
Will just team chat. I will do everything I can to make Bert uncomfortable to get answers. So,
but yeah, I'm scared to look at Twitter to see if people are saying that. Yeah, I don't know, but as I said, nothing's happening.
Don't be afraid. Before I get back to the chat, though, because we got 7 minutes left in the show, roughly, is there anything that you expressly want to get out here before we go back to the peeps? You had a bunch on the rundown today. Phillies trade targets for Harper. The Padres apparently are looking for a starter, maybe. The Dodgers offense is out there. What's going on with the Pirates behind the scenes? Could Milwaukee be looking for a starter? And some relievers, outfielders that you think will go. So, Bert, go for it, buddy.
Yeah, I'm just going to go through these pretty quick here.
Okay.
But coming into the season, I did not expect the Brewers to be looking for a starting pitcher. And I would like Brandon Woodruff, and how he fares in the next couple weeks is going to determine a lot on how they operate at the deadline. But I would not rule out the Brewers in adding a starting pitcher. And then so I have a list of some players who are candidates to move, and I will rattle them off here. Josh Bell, Nelson Cruz with the Nationals. You have Jesus Aguilar, who I think is a pretty attractive candidate with the Marlins. You have Ian Happ and David Robertson with the Cubs. And then with the Diamondbacks, you have David Peralta, who's on an expiring contract. You have Mark Malanson, who he's not what he once was. He was pretty good last year. He struggled this year, but you could get him as a veteran reliever for cheap. And then if we're looking at relievers here, you have Chris Martin also with the Cubs, who I think is a pretty good arm. As I mentioned, Malanson, you have David Bednar with the Pirates. Don't know the likelihood about him moving, though. You have Ian Kennedy. You have Keegan Aiken with the Orioles, and Gregory Soto with the Tigers. Although there's some doubt about how likely it is that he's traded just because he's controllable, and it's likely that the Tigers are going to end up asking for a decent haul there. So like that's the rundown that I got for you, Carm.
That is an extensive rundown, my friend. Okay, I love trade season. It's super exciting, and yeah. Are you hearing anything on the White Sox? I'm sorry, I got to hit the other team in Chicago because they are scuffling and could use some veteran presence in that clubhouse, and ideally that veteran presence can hit the baseball.
I cannot say that I've heard much about the White Sox at this point.
Interesting. All right, let's get Dr. Ink in there then. Can you connect the Padres to anyone not named Chad Pinder? I think Dr. Ink asked that in the last Baseball Insiders as well. But what do we got for San Diego?
Yeah, it's as we've mentioned on this pod, like this is a Chad Pinder podcast. But I think a guy like Joey Gallo as a buy low candidate makes a whole lot of sense there. But that being said, I don't know the likelihood of him going just because I don't know how many teams are actually going to want him. He's been bad, Carm, like really, really, really bad.
Yeah.
And if there's ever an executive who is going to take a chance on a guy like Joey Gallo, I think it would be a guy like AJ Preller because he has a history with him. He's known to love him. And getting him out of New York and into a less pressure-filled environment in San Diego could be what jumpstarts his career. But I'm telling you, like, with a guy like AJ Preller, I always expect the unexpected because he operates in ways that most executives do not. And whether it's trading from his rotation, like I saw, we've heard that Blake Snell, actually, no, I want to clarify this. I read this today from Dennis Lin in The Athletic that if the Padres do trade from their rotation, and this is if, that Blake Snell would be the most likely candidate. He also mentioned Mike Clevinger, but I would imagine that's more unlikely because Snell is making more than Clevinger, and they'd be selling low on Clev. So, I always expect the unexpected when it comes to the Padres.
I'm going to try to get as many as I can here quickly. Jay Kogan, 85. Any whispers on the Blue Jays? Are they in on Benintendi, who we do expect to go?
Yeah, I think Benintendi makes a whole lot of sense for Toronto. As I mentioned before, Ian Happ is a guy who also makes a lot of sense there. But with Benintendi, his season has been so good, and I don't know if they're going to have I don't know if they're going to be able to part with what it takes to get him, just because I think that haul is going to end up being pretty pricey, especially after they ended up dealing two of their top prospects for Jose Barrios last year. So maybe they're not in a position to do that, but I would expect them to be involved in that market.
Good job, Kansas City. That is, you're going to get paid off.
Trade.
Yep,
yeah.
You're gonna get paid off on that one. John Valerio, anything new on what the Rays are doing? When should we start hearing rumors for the league in general? Bert.
Yeah, that's. I admittedly have not heard much about Tampa Bay, but I do know that they have been making calls at least. That's all that I've heard about the Rays, is they're always exploring different options. So I would expect that to be nothing different here. But I'm seeing a different part to that question. Since you cover the NFL, if you were a kitchen appliance, which one would you be? That's the question that's in the chat right now.
Hold on, let me find that question because I'm a little confused by it. I just want to look at it. Carm, since you cover the NFL, if you were a kitchen appliance, well, okay. Okay, I listen. Ray's talk is this chat. We follow the chat. So you want Ray's talk? Get on in here and ask about it. No problem, John. I mean, I think it's accurate that you could Vinny Johnson was the microwave in the league, and he could just come off the bench and cook, just get hot, score buckets. So I mean, you could put me in that category, but you know, I like to shake things up. I could also be just a solid blender. Just I made a great smoothie this weekend. Also, you're right, Sean. I could be a sink. I just clean everything up. I just make everything. I'm the sink. You throw everything at me, and I just covering everything, and boom, it's beautiful. Once again, just I give you the good product. That's what I do. I hold the water for everyone. All right. I don't know what the hell just happened, but I appreciate it.
Yeah, the podcast just got weird.
Matt Millay saying that I'm a toaster. Maybe I'm not as fast as heating up as a microwave, but I do heat up eventually, type of thing. Get the job done.
Yep.
I don't exactly mind that. All right. Hey, listen, Fernando Tatis is coming up here in about 10 minutes. We'll be talking to him. We'll have that posted ASAP afterwards. To the Old Baseball Insiders YouTube page. So hit that subscribe button. We are back on Thursday, 2:00 Central. So we really appreciate everybody being here today. Tell a friend, the Baseball Insiders, there is no one more relatable, no one more adorable than Robert Murray @ByRobertMurray on Twitter, buddy.
Love you, Carm. Please subscribe, everybody. It'll help us out a lot.
Right. We need to feed ourselves and maybe someday our families. All right. We'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.